He was once the torchbearer of a legendary name in the treacherous world of crab fishing, a son stepping into his father's oversized boots with grit, charisma, and an unyielding drive to honor a legacy etched in salt and storm. Josh Harris, son of the iconic Captain Phil Harris from Deadliest Catch, captured the hearts of millions as he battled the Bering Sea's fury, his every move watched by fans who saw him as the heir to a seafaring dynasty. Yet, beneath the waves of fame, the high-stakes adventures, and the weight of the Harris name, a hidden shadow lurked, waiting to unravel everything he'd built. Years later, shocking truths surfaced, turning admiration into fury and shattering the image of a man once hailed as a symbol of resilience. So, what really went wrong for Josh Harris, the Deadliest Catch star who seemed destined for greatness? Let's dive into the saga, a tale of legacy, triumph, and a devastating fall that rocked a fan base and redefined a family story. The Harris name is synonymous with courage, chaos, and an unbreakable bond with the sea. But to understand Josh's rise and ruin, we must first start with his father, Phil Harris, a larger-than-life figure whose shadow looms over both his sons and the Deadliest Catch legacy. Born on December 19, 1956, in Bothell, Washington, Phil was drawn to the ocean from childhood, joining his father on fishing trips by age 8, learning the rhythms of tides and the perils of the deep. After high school, he dove headfirst into crab fishing, a brutal trade that tests even the toughest souls. By 21, he was among the youngest captains to command a vessel in the Bering Sea, steering the F/V Cornelia Marie into legend. On Deadliest Catch, Phil's raw charisma shone, chain-smoking, blunt-talking, and commanding with a rugged authority that made him a fan favorite. His life was a whirlwind of motorcycles, rocky marriages, wild parties, and personal highs and lows, yet his devotion to his family and crew never wavered. In 2008, he launched Captain's Reserve Coffee, a side hustle with blends like the Harris Family Roast, a savvy move to turn his TV fame into a lasting legacy for his sons, Josh and Jake. Fans applauded his foresight, seeing it as a father's gift to secure his children's future. But the tides of fortune are fickle, and tragedy struck during the filming of Deadliest Catch's sixth season. On January 29, 2010, while unloading crab on St. Paul Island, Alaska, Phil suffered a massive stroke, shocking his crew and viewers. Rushed to Anchorage, he underwent emergency surgery and was placed in an induced coma to curb brain swelling. In a fleeting moment of hope, he woke, mustering the strength to speak and grip his son's hands, a recovery doctors called miraculous. But fate had other plans. On February 9, 2010, an intracranial hemorrhage claimed his life at 53, leaving behind a devastated crew, a reeling fan base, and two sons thrust into a void they weren't ready to fill. Phil's death wasn't just a headline. It became a cornerstone of Deadliest Catch, with the show weaving his loss into its narrative through tear-soaked tributes, emotional farewells, and episodes like Blown Off Course and Redemption Day that captured the raw grief of his loved ones. For viewers, it felt like losing a friend. For Josh and Jake Harris, it was a deeply personal wound played out on a public stage. Born to Phil and his first wife, Mary, whom he married in 1982 and parted from in 1991, Josh and Jake grew up steeped in the sea's call, surrounded by boats, storms, and their father's towering presence. As kids, they were fixtures on the Cornelia Marie, learning the ropes as deckhands, hauling crab pots, and soaking in the chaos of the Bering Sea. On Deadliest Catch, they were the young guns, swabbing decks, bantering with the crew, and occasionally clashing with Phil, their growth captured by cameras that didn't miss a beat. They weren't stars yet, but the lens was always watching, waiting for their moment. When Phil died, Josh and Jake faced a daunting question. Could they carry the Harris legacy without their father's guiding hand? Fans wondered if they'd rise to the challenge or crumble under the weight of a name synonymous with Phil's bravado. Becoming a captain's son is one thing. Becoming the captain is another. The Bering Sea, already unforgiving, felt like it was judging their every move, and the pressure to match Phil's intensity while forging their own paths was crushing. Josh, the elder son, spoke in interviews about the burden, admitting that living up to his father's memory while finding his own voice was a constant struggle. As seasons rolled on, Josh stepped up, partnering with Casey McManus to buy the Cornelia Marie and taking on co-captain duties. His leadership earned respect from crew and fans alike, proving he was more than just Phil's heir. Then came Deadliest Catch, Bloodline, launched in 2020, a spin-off that took Josh's story from Alaska's icy waters to Hawaii's tropical shores. While refitting the Cornelia Marie, Josh uncovered Phil's old Hawaiian fishing charts, scribbled with cryptic notes, sparking a quest to unravel his father's past. Joined by Casey and Hawaiian fisherman Jeff Silva, Josh explored the Kona coast, blending fishing challenges with a deeply personal journey to decode Phil's secrets. Bloodline ran for 3 seasons, showcasing Josh not just as a son, but as a captain carving his own legacy, navigating storms, crew tensions, and shifting fisheries like the 2022 red king crab closure, which forced him to pivot to golden king crab and black cod. Fans saw a man growing into his own, no longer just Phil's shadow, but a leader with his own fire. To many, Josh embodied hope, a son upholding his father's name while battling nature's wrath. His courage, resilience, and deckside command won hearts. But fame brings scrutiny, and every misstep, be it a bad catch or crew clash, was weighed against Phil's legend. Bloodline deepened the Harris narrative, though some critics questioned if Josh was capitalizing on his father's memory. Still, the show's pull was undeniable, drawing viewers into a saga of discovery and legacy. Yet, beneath the surface, a darker truth simmered, one that would unravel everything. The storm broke in 1998 when Josh, then 15 or 16, faced a horrifying accusation: the sexual assault of a 4-year-old girl. The case, buried for years due to Josh's juvenile status, resurfaced later to devastating effect. Court records, sealed to protect minors, later revealed that in 1999, authorities arrested Josh after DNA evidence allegedly tied him to the crime. Instead of facing full sexual assault charges, he pleaded guilty to lesser counts: 4th-degree assault and communicating with a minor for immoral purposes, resulting in 9 months of confinement and a psychosexual evaluation. A 2019 Washington Court of Appeals ruling upheld related convictions for attempted 3rd-degree rape and communication with a minor, citing sufficient evidence. The case's opacity, due to Josh's age and plea deal, kept it under wraps for decades. Why did it stay hidden so long? Juvenile records are often sealed to shield young offenders from lifelong stigma, and the plea to lesser charges dulled the case's sensational edge, burying it in quiet court files. In 1999, Josh wasn't a public figure, and with no social media or widespread media scrutiny, the case faded into obscurity. Even as Deadliest Catch elevated him, network background checks likely missed sealed records, allowing Josh to rise as a fan favorite unaware of his past. Other legal troubles added to the Harris family's turbulent narrative. Josh faced DUI convictions in 2001 in Seattle and Renton, casting doubt on his character. A 2011 Department of Justice press release about a Joshua Harris pleading guilty to transporting individuals, including a minor, for prostitution across state lines fueled speculation, though it was never confirmed to be the Josh Harris. His brother Jake's legal woes, DUI arrests in 2010 and 2021, plus a 2017 drug possession charge for methamphetamine and Xanax, further tarnished the Harris name, amplifying public suspicion. By the early 2000s, whispers of scandal circled online, with fan forums and blogs speculating about the Harris brothers' pasts, though nothing solid emerged until 2022. That year, court documents and reports resurfaced the 1998 allegations, igniting a firestorm. Radar Online broke the story, claiming Discovery was severing ties with Josh after learning of his legal history. The network acted swiftly, confirming to Radar that Josh would no longer appear on Deadliest Catch. Bloodline's third season, aired in 2022, was yanked from Discovery's streaming platform, and the Cornelia Marie vanished from the show after season 18. Discovery scrubbed Josh's presence from episodes, effectively erasing his legacy. The move wasn't just logistical. It signaled the end of the Harris era on Deadliest Catch. The Cornelia Marie, a symbol of Phil's and Josh's reigns, became a ghost, its absence speaking louder than any statement. Fans erupted on social media, their reactions a mix of shock, anger, and betrayal. Forums buzzed with debates, some fans canceling subscriptions, others grappling with the dissonance of admiring a man now tied to such grave allegations. Headlines were merciless, with outlets like Entertainment Weekly and People dissecting Josh's fall, questioning Discovery's vetting process and the ethics of featuring someone with such a past. Opinion pieces posed tough questions. Should networks platform figures with hidden crimes? How do sealed juvenile records balance accountability and redemption? Josh remained largely silent, offering only a vague statement via IMDb News that the Cornelia Marie was not optioned for future seasons, sidestepping the allegations. His silence fueled speculation. Some saw it as guilt, others as a strategic retreat. Discovery's response was calculated, avoiding explicit mention of the scandal while quietly editing Josh out of the show's history, a move critics called a corporate erasure that ducked transparency. The fallout went beyond TV. Josh's career, reputation, and identity as the Harris heir crumbled. The Deadliest Catch brand, once enriched by the Harris saga, became a burden, with Phil's legacy now tangled in his son's scandal. For Josh, the loss was profound. His public persona, built over years of battling storms and quotas, was severed. The psychological toll, though undocumented, can be imagined. Shame, isolation, and the weight of a secret exposed. His silence post, 2022, suggests a withdrawal from the spotlight, perhaps to salvage what remained of his personal life. Little is known of his whereabouts since. Reports confirm he hasn't returned to Deadliest Catch, with his last appearance in season 18. The Cornelia Marie's fate remains uncertain, its absence a stark reminder of a dynasty's end. For fans, crew, and those who believed in the Harris story, the scandal forced a painful reckoning. Phil's legacy, once a beacon of grit, was fractured, leaving Josh's supporters to wrestle with betrayal. Social media posts captured the raw emotion. How did we miss this? And he seemed so real. Fans who'd invested in Josh's journey, watching him grow, struggle, and lead, felt the sting of a shattered image. The tragedy isn't just Josh's fall. It's the collapse of trust, a betrayal of the innocence viewers projected onto a man they thought they knew. Unlike the physical dangers of Deadliest Catch, storms, ice, capsizes, this was a moral tempest, hidden in sealed files and past choices. The show's narrative, once driven by the Harris family saga, shifted to other captains, other boats, leaving the Cornelia Marie a fading memory. The scandal raises deeper questions. How do we reconcile admiration with accountability? Can a youthful mistake define a life forever? Josh's story is a mirror, reflecting the fragility of public personas, the weight of secrets, and the collision of celebrity and justice. Was he a son striving to honor his father, or a man whose past destroyed a legacy? Should he be forgiven, or are some sins too heavy to bear? Share your thoughts below, and if this story gripped you, like, subscribe, and explore more real-life tales that remind us the sea isn't the only force that can break a man.